guys may know me as TMK. And today we have a special guest, Brandon. We're sharing the same name, Barnum. Creating one of the things we're going to talk about today is creating those profitable partnerships. So, Brandon, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing right now in the business community.
Oh, yeah, man. So my primary business is HOA.com. We're creating an online platform that's kind of like Nextdoor meets Angie's List meets Zillow. We're on a mission to revolutionize the way homeowner associations are run and really serve their clients and community. But really, it's about helping those homeowners get connected to professionals they can trust. So that's where I spend most of my time. I'm also the chairman of the Champions Institute. We focus on dentists. So we have a brand called Champion Dentist. It's a dental consulting company. And then I'm the chairman of the Christian Business Alliance, where we help believers in business connect, collaborate, and do more business together.
Okay, so that's a lot. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, how did you get started? What was your beginnings in this?
Oh man, I got started, in my 20s. I was working as a marketing director in a estate planning law firm. When I got custody of my 2-year-old son. I found out in college you don't have to be married to have a kid. And I got custody of my son when I was 24, became a single dad, and I was only making 20 grand a year at the time. And so that wasn't enough money to take care of daycare and my mortgage. And I found that out because I started bouncing my mortgage checks. And so I had to make a change. I ended up getting into the mortgage business myself as a loan originator and was able to 10x my income over 18 months from 20,000 a year to 200,000 a year, all because I had a mentor that taught me the art and science of what I now call raving referrals.
Okay, now you use that phrase 10x. I'm a 10xer myself, so I'm a big follower of Grant Cardone. So you're doing the low.
Wait, I was doing that with Wu-Tang Clan a year ago. I learned all the W's. I didn't know all the W's until Wu-Tang taught me.
Yeah, that's Grant Cardone 10x, baby.
Oh,
okay. So I always think that's the, I've read a lot of his books and been following for many years. So what would you say were the pivotal moments that set your path for success in this business that got you where you're at right now?
Yeah, there's a few. Great question. Number one was all about the power of partnerships. I know we're going to talk about that, but that's really what changed my life, was partnering with people that were serving the same perfect prospect, the same ideal client, and building partnerships where we were working and building our businesses together. That was the game changer for me. And that's where I got all my business. So since then, I've been on a mission to help as many people as possible do that. The other thing that I learned in business school, right, I was getting a marketing degree. I had this one great teacher, professor called Jack Taylor. And I had a couple classes from him. One was entrepreneurship. And he said, you got to look at the world through new eyes and figure out what's wanting to happen and then solve those challenges. And so, back in 1997, I built an early version of what we now know as Zillow. It was an online real estate guide to help people sit at home in their underwear and search for properties, listings. And so that's what helped create my career. Is I added value to everyone possible. I approached these realtors and said, hey, I want to feature your home at pdxhome.com. And that started that partnership process. It all starts through giving first.
I agree. A couple of years ago, I read this book. It's called How to Network with Millionaires and Their Affiliates by Dr. Thomas Stanley. And that was an amazing book. But one of the things that he really focused in that book was, do what others won't. And one of the examples that he gave was an insurance agent. And he was like, most insurance agents, when it comes that time of the year, they go in and say, hey, is there new employees or what have you? But he says, if you want to be that exceptional, insurance agent, what you really would have done was find out what ails that industry, what issues are they having, or what maybe there's some legislation coming down the line. And, you do something as simply as, writing a letter to Congress or a congressman saying, hey, I think that this is going to affect that business negatively. So, and then you send that to that CEO, that owner of that business, say, hey, listen, I've been thinking about your business. I've been thinking about your industry. And this is what I went ahead and done for you. You're right. And he said, that is what sets you apart. So now that business owner, who would they call to want to do business with? The person that just wants money, or the person that really takes what they got going on into consideration? So, I thought that was very impactful and kind of coincides with what you're talking about today.
Well, and I think you just tapped on two things. One is adding value, right? Making a difference in what the pain points are of your clients and customers. The second thing that you just talked about, and you may not, I think you know it because you're elevating your expert authority, right? By taking that stance and saying, hey, here's what's coming in your industry. Number one, I want you to be aware of it. Number two, I want you to know I'm an advocate for you and the industry. And when you establish yourself as a thought leader, people want to do business with you because they're attracted. It's called pull marketing, right? Normally marketing is all push marketing. We're pushing our messages out there through email, through text, through direct mail. But when you start to elevate your authority, you attract people to them. You pull people to you, and now they're jumping over themselves trying to do business with you.
Hey guys, if you're just tuning in now, we're talking, having this intriguing conversation with our guest, Brandon Barnum, with the HOA.com. Did I say that correctly? I'll make sure I got it. All right. So, so the next point that we want to talk about before we drive into the strategies and innovation side is key decisions. Because, I honestly believe, and I got this from, what's his name? John Maxwell. And, he constantly says, like, your life is determined by the decisions you make, or the indecisions that you don't take, or the questions you ask, or the questions you don't ask. So can you share some of the key decisions that have been game changers for you? And perhaps if maybe you didn't make those decisions, what would have been the outcome? So some of these business owners can understand how important it is to make certain decisions in your business and when to make that shift.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, in the tech world, right, as a tech CEO, there's a lot of decisions that you have to make because you start out with this vision of what this can be, right? And then you got to go create a product. You got to put it out in the market. We talk about MVP, not most valuable player,
minimal viable product.
Viable product, right? And you got to see, does the market like what you're doing? I remember we started a company back in 2010 called divorceshield.com. And we spent a year building this platform. We launched it. We had 2,000 realtors sign up in the first week, right? So $50,000 in recurring revenue week one. Now, what we found out was our whole strategy and hypothesis is we're going to help people that are going through divorce, right? We have this online kind of an ebook, but it was customized. People going through divorce would put in their zip code, download a free Divorce Shield plan, and it would include the recommendations of everything that all the decisions, the key decisions that you're making as you're going through divorce. But also we recommended the professionals that can help you, the mediator, the counselor, the attorney, the realtor, right? You're going to sell your home if you go through divorce. Here's what we found out. Our whole business strategy was based on us giving the marketing tools to the pros who are paying us and having them help take us to market. What we found out after about 90 days, even though we were generating revenue, which was great, what we found out is they didn't want to be associated with a negative life event like divorce. They didn't want to be seen as an ambulance chaser. So we went, okay, what is it that you do want? And what they said was, we want a system to generate more referrals, to create these referral partnerships. So we completely pivoted. We actually sunsetted that company and we created a company called TrustedTeam.com as a result of the market saying, not going to do that. The people need it, but the professionals wouldn't do what we needed for the business model to succeed. So we completely pivoted the business model. We said, okay, the people are telling us this is what they want, so that's what we're going to build. We ended up building Trusted Team. We merged the company to create Refer.com, and we built that into the world's largest referral network with over 5 million people before we sold it in 2019.
Wow. And That's kind of interesting because, hearing that, and I hope the listening audience can understand the power of that, is that you in particular, you knew when to make a shift. Oftentimes, and I think it's one of the biggest problems that a lot of entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs have, or business owners, is that they go out and they create a product based on what they think people want, instead of tapping into your ideal audience and find out what is it exactly that if I build something that most likely people want and need what I'm putting out, versus I think this is what people want. So, and you were able to make that shift. So that's awesome.
Well, and Brandon, here's the other piece. What will they pay for? Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing to say, hey, I want this, I need it, but what are you going to spend your hard-earned dollars and willing to exchange for the value of accessing that tool, that training, that technology, whatever it is that you create that you think is going to make a difference? So you got to understand. And what I've found successful for me, Brandon, is actually pre-selling. Right? When we came up with the concept of trusted team, we said, okay, we think this is what the market wants based on the feedback of the market research we just did. But let's find out. Before we go even build the tech, we built a PowerPoint and we built an order form. And we said, here's the product that we're going to build. Will you buy it? And if you'll buy it now, and we only charged them, it was $995 for a lifetime license of this software platform, because we had to validate the market fit, right? That there was actually a desire and people were willing to pay for it. And we did, right? We got, 200 people that paid for it in that first 90 days. That created $200,000 in revenue. We used that revenue to go build the technology and the platform. So you got to find out what people are willing to actually pay for in order to have a viable company.
Wow. And that's true in so many points. And I hope everyone listening to that really caught that. I mean, because that's so important. And I mean, I think those are lessons that I learned at the beginning, back in the day when it used to be so many, everyone's creating courses. And when I first came up with my first couple of courses, I'm like, why is no one, I never asked anyone during that time. I never asked, hey, what type of course would you be willing to divest yourself of money for, and be, that would be enriching to your life, that will be helpful. And then once I create that course, how would I structure that course? Doing with timing, people are busy. Like, could it be something that can get done in a week, a month? And I had something set up at the time of like 90 days. And I'm thinking to myself, looking back at it, like, entrepreneurs they're not going to spend 90 days on your course. They need to get the information and get out. So those are just lessons that, that I've learned along the way. And it's very interesting that you bring that point and driving it home.
Yeah. And Brandon, you're so right. You got to make it digestible. Like in my Raving Referrals, I have an online course called Raving Referrals. We charge $4.99 for it. And, it's got basically a 10x ROI guarantee, because if somebody can't make at least $5,000 using the strategies we give, number one, they shouldn't buy it. But number two, most people are going to get 100x ROI, right? But every single module that we created and recorded was between 1 and 4 minutes, and there's 103 of them. So it only takes about 4 hours if you want to go through every single thing in one sitting. You can do that. But we really built it to be socially shareable, and each individual lesson you can sit there and listen to over a cup of coffee in the morning.
Wow. Automobile University. As they're heading in, they could be listening and getting in. I mean, that's, time. All right. So strategies and innovation. So, creating profitable partnerships. That's kind of the idea of what this show, this particular episode is about. So you've been, incredibly successful at collaboration with top companies and pros. What's the secret sauce?
Well, number one, common client and common fit. You got to make sure that you're able to help them address their issues. And I mean, it starts with having a vision. This is our vision for HOA.com. These are the companies that we're looking to partner with, right? Now, we've created that vision board, and we've already created partnerships with a number of them. Like we did a deal with Thumbtack. Okay. Thumbtack serves homeowners. right? They provide professionals, vetted professionals, just like we do, but their network is larger than ours. They have 250,000 home service pros on their platform. So we created a partnership with Thumbtack so that if we have homeowners that are in any neighborhood and they're looking for a painter or a plumber, whether that's in Portland, Petaluma, or Pittsburgh, they're going to find that 5-star rated company on our platform. Okay. Common fit. We help them, they help us, we help the homeowner. Everyone wins in that situation. We just did a partnership last week with a company called care.com. Similar thing, right?
Yeah.
They provide caregivers, whether it is childcare, whether it is elder care for aging parents, pet sitting, or they also specialize in providing home cleaning, right? Now, that's a perfect fit for us. They've got nearly 1 million caregivers and 4 million people on the platform. Well, that's a perfect fit for us. And the beauty these days, back when I started, we created an affiliate program before Amazon.com ever had. I had an online e-commerce company called Longevity Labs, and we created an affiliate program. We didn't know it at the time. There was no such thing as affiliate marketing. This is back in 1999.
Yeah.
But we made it so there was a referral reward. As people referred our program to others, they got credit. They earned money. We automatically applied that to their future purchases. So as they bought products, they got products for free. Or if they wanted to cash out and get paid cash, they could do that too. So I've been doing that partnerships for a long time, because even back in 1999, we partnered with people that had these email lists of, millions of people in their online newsletters. And so I've been doing partnerships now for over 24 years, I guess it is. So partnerships is the way to go.
Okay. So I'm going to throw a little wrench in it and ask a question that we haven't talked about. So I'm going to give maybe a slight case study. So let's just say I had a business that I was working with, and they were a cleaning company, a commercial cleaning company, and it's a franchise. How would that company, if they, let's just say, got 80 employees, they're having trouble growing, like, they're at that $1 million mark. They've been producing millions of dollars for a couple of years. Like they're at that maybe $1.5, $2 million mark every year, but they're not able to grow anymore. What would you suggest to a company like that that's Christian based as well? Because the company I'm referring to is a company called Office Pride, and one of my clients, and also a close friend of mine, we served together in the military, and nice. He started a franchise. So right now he's trying to grow. And he's kind of in that stalemate section, like, hey, we're still having issues along the way. What would you suggest for, a business that's like that?
Okay, so your buddy's the franchisor, correct? So you're asking about if you owned a franchise business, how do you go sell franchises? Yeah?
No, technically, in this case, he's a franchisee. Okay. So he bought into a franchise. He has a local location, and he's trying to continue to grow that business.
Excellent. So in that business, right, he's got people that are serving business owners all the time. So I always look at who is already serving the client that you want to serve. One of the things that he should look at is partnering with business coaches, with CPAs. Why? Because they're coaching those companies and helping them save money, right? Part of his service that he wants to offer may be from the perspective of help you save money. Now, is he a veteran as well?
Yes, he is.
Okay. So he should be using that veteran-owned business status as well. He may even want to use the fact that he is a Christian, a believer in business. That's one of the things that we're doing with the Christian Business Alliance, is helping believers in business do business with other Christians, because typically that doesn't happen. It happens in the Muslim faith, it happens in the Jewish faith, but in the Christian faith, we just don't intentionally buy from other believers. And that's one of the things that we want to help solve at the Christian Business Alliance. So those are just a couple of things. He's probably just calling on businesses directly. If it were me, I'd add that American flag. What branch of the military did y'all serve in?
The United States Army.
Army. All right. I love it. Thank you for your service. I have my business partner is former Army, and our director of coaching is former Army. Our COO is a retired captain in the Navy, and he oversaw 412,000 troops and a $518 billion budget. So we are passionate about our veterans. So thank you for your service. And he should be using that in his marketing.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. So
there's some contracts that he can win because he's a veteran-owned business, right? I mean, think about that. Think about actually using that status, getting accredited, and then going after government cleaning jobs, for example.
I agree. So, I mean, do you touch bases on the government contracting as well? Is that a part of your business as well? Is that something that you're exploring?
It's not. That's not something that we're into. We teach the strategies, but as far as the practical application, like HOA.com, we focus on professionals who serve homeowners. When we sold Refer.com in 2019, I was sitting on the sidelines. I started coaching my now business partner, who was a former Army MP, and we said, what if we could create the BNI power team for the real estate industry? What if we could create the #1 referral network for professionals who serve homeowners? So that's how we started. We started as the homeowneralliance.com. And one time he and I were having a meeting, and I said, this domain is too long to fit on the side of the bus. If we could wave our magic wand and have any domain on the planet, what would it be? Owner Alliance, HOA. I reached out, looked up HOA.com, reached out to the owner, made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and here we are. So we focus on homeowners and the professionals who serve them.
Okay. So challenges and triumphs. I know that in any business, there's highs and lows. So in entrepreneurship, is like a roller coaster. I think Darren Harding wrote a book called the Entrepreneur's Roller Coaster Effect. I think that's what it's called. And it talks about the ebb and flow of business, like, what you may have done back in 2000, now may just now be catching up and elevating you. It's about, staying in the game and being patient and doing the right things for a period of time. So what would you say those highs and lows were for you? How were you able to overcome or expound on that situation?
Yeah, I think there's been so many, and it's a great question because as entrepreneurs, we face these challenges all the time. I remember back when I had my mortgage company, I'm making a couple $100,000 a year until all of a sudden the entire global economy melted down. You want to talk about a challenge, be in the real estate business in 2007, 8, and 9. I finally got out in 2009 because I wanted to go back to building technology platforms. But that was a major challenge. And we serve a lot of people that are facing that challenge right now. I talked to a mortgage lender yesterday, and she said she just locked in a client at a rate of over 8%. So, people that are realtors, mortgage lenders, they're not having their best years, and they haven't for the last 2 years, ever since a certain someone went into office. Let's go, Brandon. So, sorry, just had to go there. It's all of us in business are like, what in the world just happened over these last couple of years? Like the whole world has gone upside down. But going back to your question, there's been so many. I talked about Longevity Labs early on. We started that company in 1999, and we had some great traction, but the world wasn't ready to buy things online using a credit. Right? Okay. We were too early in the market. We had a brilliant product. We had over 300 different supplements. We had a DNA preservation kit. We were written about in the Wall Street Journal and Newsweek, but people weren't ready to buy online. We were just too early. So there's so many challenges when you're running a business. Cash flow is king. And I can't tell you how many times I've been short on cash flow come payroll time, and I've had to, borrow money from investors or friends, family sometimes to just get through. So you got to do what you do to stay in the game long enough to win.
Wow. That's powerful. And I applaud you for that. Most entrepreneurs that I've spoke to won't even admit that. And I just think that that's so powerful that you're sharing that side of it. And that's one thing I pride, to start thinking for this podcast about is like, it's real talk for real people, no matter where you may be in life, no matter what accolades you've achieved. At the end of the day, we all started at zero, and we're still continuously trying to, better ourselves and build our business or what have you. So that, you being very transparent, I hope that, the people really took that in is to be where you're at today. And some of the business that you've started, to say that there have been times that it was a struggle to make payroll. And the same thing applies to other businesses. They're going through that issue. I got 70, 80 employees, I have to send this wire in to make payroll, or I'm going to be writing paper checks. And I got it because I'm trying to extend myself, give myself just a little bit more days to make sure that those invoices clear, that I'm able to make payroll. So I've heard the nightmares that a lot of entrepreneurs have gone through or currently going through. So I think that that's very powerful that you shared that with us.
It's real, man. I mean, that's just it. If you want to be humbled, go into business for yourself, and you're going to learn all the things you don't know. I was just down in Dallas, Texas a couple of days ago, and I was teaching this group of dentists, and I did an AI search through ChatGPT. I said, what are the top 100 responsibilities of a dental practice owner? And I put them on screen, right? These 100 things that a dentist needs to be focused on. And then I did a duplicate of that, and I highlighted the things that were actually clinical care. And it was 10%. So for all these dentists that have gone to medical school, they're doctors, right? They're not business owners, but suddenly they find themselves as business owners, but they've never been trained in that. And now 90% of their business success is based on them figuring out how to run the business. And I said, look, you got to take off your dentist hat and you got to put on your CEO hat. And you need to spend time figuring out the business side of your business, or you're not going to be in business. And it's so true. No matter what you do, you got to wear that CEO hat and really focus on the business of your business.
You could not have put that any other way. Like, you elegantly put that away. Like, that was awesome, because I think a lot of people, business owners, and that's a particular interesting industry, that they don't think, like, they went to medical school, they got all that, but they don't know how to, market a business. And a lot of other would-be business owners, entrepreneurs, they go in there, well, I have an idea of what this is, but they don't do their homework to find out what's all required to make that happen. And then they say those famous words, this doesn't work. No, it's not that it doesn't work. Two things: either you're not working, or what you're working on is not the right things. A hamster is working, on a wheel. You're kicking up all this, energy, but if it's not, channeled in the right places and you're doing the right activity. One of my friends out of Burlington, North Carolina, Andy Albright, he owns a insurance marketing organization. And one of the things, he constantly says is incoming producing behavior. Like, what are you doing for your business that's income producing behavior? Looking at TV, thinking that, well, I'm hoping that this campaign that we have on Google works. Well, what strategies was behind it? Who helped you? Who were the subject matter experts that know about that particular subject? Because that, to me, is what makes you a smart and savvy leader, business owner, is that you may not have the skills or the capacity, but do you have the skills and capacity to find people that do? So I think that that's a pivotal thing that a lot of business owners miss, and you just hit it on the head with that.
Well, and it's the power of mentorship, right? Find someone who's already been where you want to go and ask them for the map, the blueprint, right? They can help get you there faster and a lot less pain and anxiety throughout the way.
Yeah. So, team management. All right. And this is kind of like where your expertise, I know, really falls in. What's your philosophy on managing teams effectively and efficiently?
Yeah, there's several. I mean, number one, you got to use personality science. And I know you read my bio, so you know I created an AI for personality science about 4 years ago, before AI was kind of hip and cool. So that's one thing, is really understand your people, understand who they are naturally, not necessarily adapted. Like, yes, they can do things that they've learned how to do, but where do they thrive? Where do they succeed? Where do they want to be? And how can you put them in a role where they can add the most value, not only to your company, but to themselves? If you can find a role for them where they're lit up, they're fired up, they're excited and on passion, man, they're going to produce incredible results. So you got to get the right people. You got to get them in the right roles. We use a system called Bank Code Overall for overall personality science, but then we use a system called Harrison Assessments to really determine who that person is and are they the right person for that role.
Now, at what level in a business, like someone's listening to this right now, it's like, whoa, he said a lot. So at what point in my business do I need to be looking at what you're talking about right now to find out about those personality tests, to make sure that I'm hiring the right person? Is that something that happens at the beginning? Is that something like, hey, I've developed a good brand? When do you think a CEO should start implementing that type of strategy?
When you go, if they know, most people just don't know. And so they do the best that they know how, right? We recommend Bank Code. Bank Code is a great system. It's actually not only for personnel, but really for sales, because when you understand who the personality is of your prospect, you understand how they make buying decisions, then you can present and communicate in a way that helps you get to yes faster. So we recommend people go to knowyourcode.us. You can take the quick, takes about 60 seconds to do the actual personality assessment, and then you'll get a full report that tells you who you are. So that's one system, and people should be using that from the get-go, right? From your first hire, you want to understand who it is that you're hiring, and a tool like Bank Code just helps you make sure that you understand the people that you're bringing on your team.
So how impactful would you say determining your right hire, right? Determining what person you really want to hire, how would you say that would impact the overall success of the business as far as its ability to scale in the future? And what I'm talking about is, like, when you're hiring people, there's different categories. You have some people that are they're upfront, they're going to do things. They don't need orders. They're willing to execute in the absence of orders. They're willing to step above. And then you have B that will occasionally do it. And then you have C employees that they didn't even show up to work. And, D is like, so those different types of personalities or different types of people, how can they ultimately shape? Let's think about it. If you're a leader and CEO and you hiring wrong, or maybe you have some examples or case studies where you've seen where that's not worked out well.
Yeah, well, you need to be slow to hire and quick to fire is the reality, right? And it's based on the fit of the position. So you have some people that are self-drivers, they're catalysts, they're going to go figure things out and make things happen. They don't need a lot of guidance and direction, but you need them in the right role, right? If they're in a hunter role like biz dev or promoting your company, then that can be a great fit. They don't want a lot of oversight and they don't need a lot of oversight. Now, you've got other people that are doing the production, the operations side. I mean, you're a military guy, right? So you know what I'm talking about having the right people in the right roles. And it really depends. But it all starts with your vision, your mission, and your core values. Who is it that you are as a company, right? What is the company taking a stand for? And are you attracting people that align with those values? Right? That they really fit into the culture of the company that you're creating. So I think core values are instrumental. And if you don't hire based on core values, you're going to end up with the wrong fit. I mean, in one of my companies, we had a CEO that we had brought in on an interim basis, and I had to let her go like 60 days ago. She just wasn't the right fit. talented woman, lots of success in the past, and we tried to make it work, but it just wasn't working. And at some point, you got to realize that it's not a fit, and that's when you got to make a move and find the right person for your team.
Interesting. So you made a lot of mention about core values. So my next question is, how important do you think it is for brands to let the audience know their core values? Like less and less as time has progressed. A lot of companies are more salesy, and they're not as much as telling you, like, this is what we stand on. Like we mentioned earlier, like, this is a Christian-based business. We stand on this principles. We love on people. We're part of this cause. How important is that in the world of business, and especially today where there's so much noise out there? How important is it for a brand to share those core values, those beliefs?
I think it's critically important. I think number one, it's got to live within your company. Your number one customer is your team member, right? Those are the people that carry your brand forward out into the community, out into the world. If they don't buy into your core values, man, you got a serious challenge. I think the question that you're asking is, like, should you put your core values on your website? Yeah, you should. You should share that with people so that they understand what you stand for, because people care when they care about what you care about.
Wow. So, any tips, because mental health is a big part. And I think in business, oftentimes we don't talk about it, but if you're a CEO, you're running a business, there's a lot of moving pieces that goes on. So are there any tips or strategies that you have as far as when it comes to, being able to build your business, but at the same time, keep your sanity, staying who you are, values, the principles, everything that we talked about, but still be able to maintain a normal life? Because being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, CEO is definitely a challenging ordeal.
Yeah, it's a great question, Brandon. I mean, number one, for me, it's all about faith. It's about connection, right? I wake up every morning and I say, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, because I get to play another day, right?
Yes,
Ultimately,
yes.
We get to appreciate and be grateful for that which we have. And it's a challenge. Like, if you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a CEO of a 50, a 500, 5,000 person company, or it's just you, like, being in business for yourself isn't always easy. It's not always for everybody, right? And you have to learn how to detach from the situations that come. The reality is, you assign whatever energetic response to every situation that comes up in your life, right? If a client or customer isn't happy, you can either get stressed out about it, or you can just relax and realize, hey, it's just business. I'm going to do everything I can to make that person happy and really invest your energy into that outcome, but also realize you're not going to make everybody happy. There's just some people that are not happy in this world. But back to your question, for me, I stay connected to source, man. The answer for me is a lot of praise and worship music and a lot of prayer.
I understand that, definitely. I'm with you on that. The next thing I think that if I was on the other side of this conversation, I think another question that people would want to know would be, what do you think the next 2 years is going to look like in business? And if I was a business, just starting a business right now, I'm getting ready, I'm contemplating if I want to start a business, what strategies, what would be if you can give us a summation of a plan for a new business right now? And I mean, you can pick whatever industry. Where do you think they should start, and based on what the horizon may be in the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, great question, Brandon. I think number one, it comes back to your personal experience and expertise. What are you great at? What lights your fire? What motivates you? Rather than just trying to find an opportunity, find something that you're passionate about, that there's a need in the marketplace. You got to find a challenge or a problem that you can help solve. Now, once you identify what that is, again, you got to find that product market fit, or were people willing to pay for the solution that you're providing? And then assuming they are, who else is helping those people? In my experience, most business comes down to either selling to consumers or to business owners, right? B2C or B2B. We focus at HOA.com on the B2C side, but we also serve the B2B pros, right? So we have kind of both going on simultaneously. So you need to understand who it is that's already serving your perfect prospects, and how can you add value to that person or that company so that you become the solution that they're recommending when their clients, their customers, their patients, or their guests have challenges. When you can be the solution to other people's problems, they'll refer you all day long.
That I believe that's true. I think that's very, very true. Very, very, very true. So what would you say would be the next step for you? What is your trajectory in your business? Where do you see yourself or your business in the next 2, 3, 5 years?
Yeah, so over the next 5 years, our goal is to grow the valuation of HOA.com to over $17 billion. We're working on the 370,000 homeowner association communities in the U.S. We believe there's a better way to HOA. People don't love their homeowner association. We want to change that. We believe by the end of 5 years that people will fall in love with their HOA because of how we revolutionize the industry. We're talking blockchain voting, blockchain spending. You should have full visibility of every decision and every dollar that is dedicated within the homeowner association and the community that you live in. So that's part of what we're doing there. The other thing that we see at HOA.com is bringing community impact events to the neighborhood. So we do things like community barbecues and ice cream socials, and bring a bounce house to a community so that the families come together and actually have a reason to connect. We want to celebrate our veterans, and we're proudly patriotic. We don't make any excuses about that. We love our country. We believe that there's a better way for our country to move forward as well, and we're excited to see what the future holds. We're optimistic, but also we're wanting to protect our children, right? So we're creating community safe zones in these neighborhoods so that if a kid is being bullied or beaten, or God forbid worse, they know where to go and turn for help. We believe that there's just a better way to live in the communities, and that home is where the heart is. So that's the future that we're dedicated to creating.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you definitely need to go back and listen to this powerful conversation that we're having with Brandon here. The next question that I'm going to ask, and I hope it's an open-ended question, but it's kind of like power of the ask, because I seen that, like, what is that? How powerful is it? And why should you use it?
I'm dipping my shoulder here because right here, my mentor is Mark Victor Hansen. I think I mentioned that before. Mark taught me 19 years ago when I first met him about the power of asking for exactly what you want. And when it comes to referrals, we teach the art of the ask. Now, first of all, you got to get clear on what you want, right? When I met Mark, I hired him to come be a speaker at a fundraising event that I was doing for a Christian charity up in Portland, Oregon. And he challenged the audience with creating 101 goals.
Wow.
And the power of that is getting crystal clear on exactly what you want to accomplish and achieve. Now, he had written The Aladdin Factor, How to Ask for and Get Everything You Want. So I had read that book. But I went to Hawaii the week after I met him, and I wrote 338 goals. And one of those goals was the scariest that I had ever acted on, and that was to call Mark Victor Hansen when I got back from Hawaii and ask him to be my personal mentor. And for some reason, Brandon, that was the most intimidating call I've ever made in my entire life. But you know what? I got past my fear. I asked for what I wanted, and he said yes. And now 19 years later, we're still friends. In fact, he's an owner of HOA.com, and he is a visionary advisor for us. So what Mark teaches is that the more you ask, the more you get. The Bible teaches us you get not because you ask not, right? And there's a lot of scripture that talks about the power of asking for what it is that you want. Now, we teach the art of the ask when it comes to referrals, and there's 3 steps involved. Number 1 is setting the stage. Number 2 is listening for the referral triggers. And then number 3 is ASK to GET. So that first one is setting the stage. If you have a new client or customer, before you let them walk out of that initial meeting, you say, before I let you go, I got a quick favor to ask you. Would it be okay, once we've proven ourselves to you and wowed you with our service, would it be okay if we ask you for referrals later on? Now, doing that, you're basically planting seeds. You're making them comfortable because you haven't asked for referral now, but you're basically putting them on notice that, number 1, you're going to go above and beyond to deliver a wow experience for them. And that's what they want to hear. And then number 2, you're getting their permission and approval to ask for referrals at a later date. So everyone says yes to that question. Now that's in the stage. Now you want to listen for the referral triggers. And that's basically, sometimes you'll just hear, wow, man, this is so cool. I look so good. I feel so great. I've saved so much money. I've made so much money. Whatever it is that you provide, you're looking for that thank, that expression of appreciation. And when you hear it, now it's time for the 3rd step, to ASK to GET. And it goes like this. Brandon, I'm so glad to hear that. I love helping people like you get results like this. If you know anybody else that we can help with our service, we have this special offer, whatever it is, for your business, however you attract people into your funnel, you want to then present that offer as a way to help them, help the people that they serve and care.
Okay. I totally agree, and I know I keep bringing these questions because when you get an expert, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking at this show right now, when you get someone like Brandon on the platform, you got to keep giving them questions to get that information, because this is what a CEO thinks. And oftentimes a lot of business, to me, the hardest thing you can ever do in this world is to be something you've never seen. So, Brandon, you're an example that you're showing people like, hey, I've had this business, I've started, I've sold, I've had issues, problems, but at the end of the day, by having those values, morals, principles, and faith, and an unwavering positive attitude, that's why you're here today. So the next thing I want to talk about is about what do we call the future of influencer marketing, because some of it has a negative connotation. I'm hearing, I just recently wrote an article on Medium, and I talked about de-influencing, where people have a tendency of, they're an influencer, they have a following, so they get behind a product. And then later on, that product is not that good. Well, how much did you vet that product before you put it on your platform and endorsed it? So what's your insight into the future of influencer marketing, goals, pros? How do you feel and what do you think?
Well, it's another version of partnership, really, is partnering with influencers. I always say you want to influence influencers, and you want to find people that have communities. Quite frankly, it's why I do 3 to 5 podcasts a week. It's because I get to come make a difference for you and all of the people that are part of your community. And hopefully they like what they hear, they're inspired, and they'll go take action and improve their lives. But you're totally right, Brandon. We see that right now going on with some crypto space where some celebrities are being sued, right? Because they've associated with the brand that now is tarnished. And so you've got to be very careful about who you associate with, and you need to be a product of the product. You want to partner with people and associate with people that you believe in what they do. And sometimes you're going to bet wrong, and that's just part of life, right? I just saw in the news yesterday Ashton Kutcher is being attacked because of some comments that he made like 20 years ago. And so
Wow.
you got to be cautious. What I say to people, Brandon, is everything you do and say will be held against you in a court of public opinion.
That's facts. It definitely is. And I think that's why it's so important, to take into consideration what we talked about in this discussion today is, if you stand on certain principles, you won't have to worry about that because you know that everything that you said was professional, that your intentions were good, your heart was in the right place. And to me, that matters more than anything. Like at the end of the day, I think everyone wants, if they're in business, they want to be successful. But, there was a gentleman by name of Art Williams. A lot of people may not know who Art Williams is, but Art Williams, he was an insurance guy. I mean, most people know him today. I think the company's name is Primerica today. But one of the things that Art said in a lot of his speeches was like, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, eventually people are going to smell you out for who you are, so it's always best to do good business. There's no reason to not take the time and do right by people, and you will never need for anything. And that's what I pride myself on in my business and my practices is that I want to create allies. I want to create, center of influences in the community that know that when they call upon me, that I'm reliable, I'm going to show up. I live by certain values and virtues, and that's just who I am. And I think that, I'm fairly young, so I'm just 39. But I feel like I'm in the middle where individuals that are much older than me, I understand them because I've been around that crowd of folks and business owners that's older. But now I'm also around the younger folks, and I see it clear as day. It's like, whoa, we've gotten away from some things, and we need to get back to the fundamentals. Not about reading the next new book, business book. It's not about necessarily going back to this another workshop. It's about getting back to the fundamentals of doing good business. Professionalism, showing up on time, being accountable. Those things to me matter more than anything, because to me, it just shows a different type of business that you're dealing with. So what's your insight on that?
You're talking about character, right? And literally on our team call last week, we were talking about back to the basics. And in this book, The 1 Minute Millionaire, if I can get the right one, Mark Victor Hansen talks about the 13 millionaire ahas. And one of them is be, do, have. It's really about your being. Who are you being before what are you doing? Because your being is going to expose itself either positively or negatively. And so focus on who you are, be in integrity. You're talking about character, and that at the core is who you are. And when you are in integrity always, when you always do what you say you're going to do, and you always tell the truth, man, it's easy to sleep well at night because you're never looking over your shoulder.
You're a very selfless person too, Brandon. And I'm just gonna bring that to the attention. Like, since we've had this discussion, you brought up 2 books, and neither one of them are yours. So you're very selfless. But let's put an end to that, and let's talk a little bit about you and your book, and your website. So tell us a little bit about your website. You talked about it at the beginning. So let's dive deep into the Raving Referrals and your book and how that came about and how that can help, our listeners.
Yeah, well, Raving Referrals came about because I wanted to help the professionals we serve at HOA.com. I started writing the book back in 2012. So it took 10 years to actually finalize and think. It was one of the benefits of that whole, we won't even name it, but a couple of years ago when the world kind of changed, right?
Yeah.
That gave me some time to really finish up the book. And so Raving Referrals is the proven step-by-step process to building profitable partnerships and attracting raving Referrals. We teach the referral partner blueprint, right? We really help people in building their partnerships. And you should have, we teach people to automate the ask, find ways that you can integrate and ask for referrals into your practice. Give people referral rewards. Have a referral kit. So when somebody does business with you, you've got an easy way for you to pass on what you're doing so that they can tell others about you. So there's a ton of value in that book, and people will definitely be able to apply things instantly, quickly, and create some major results in their business.
Wow. So next thing, because I saw this too, Raving Referrals for dentists. Now you spoke on it a little bit. All right.
So there you go. Here's some shameless self-promotion for you.
So what was that? So are you seeing my screen, aren't you? Are you able to? Okay. So here you got the Raving Referrals for dentists, a proven step-by-step system to attract profitable patients. So was that basically you took the Raving Referrals, wrote a book, and then you took it again and made it just for dentists? Correct.
Yeah. So Mark Victor Hansen said, don't write a book, build a brand, right? He's sold over 600 million books mostly through Chicken Soup for the Soul. And so when I wrote